Merry Christmas, guys. I hope you're having a great holiday season wherever you are. I want to give you a quick update on what's going on around the country. Plus, I do want to let you know that I still believe that as we head into January, we're not just going to turn cold. We're going to see a better chance for big snows, I think, east of the Mississippi. And it looks to me like, if I were going to say when would it be, favorable around the first part of January through about the 20th. And beyond that, it might actually extend out into the 25th or so, and that would be east of the Mississippi. Now, the Southern Plains, I do have some questions about you guys. I'm not so sure if we get much going on here. We're going to talk about that today. Plus, there's the potential on the table for some severe weather. Heavy rain, strong thunderstorms are set to return for East Texas, also Louisiana on Thursday. That's going to bring the potential for severe weather, flash flooding. Even some tornadoes are possible, and it's going to be a pretty rough one, so you want to make sure you stay weather aware. And across the West Coast, we are watching this huge storm move in right now. This is bringing heavy rain, gusty winds to the Pacific Northwest. We've seen waves that have been huge and up to 3 feet of snow in parts of the Cascades. That's going to continue. And overall, though, across the rest of the country, we've got this southerly flow. So mild conditions prevail in many parts of the east, too, as we see that southerly flow develop. A few rain showers here, too, and we're going to talk all about that today. Thanks for checking the video out today, guys. If you're brand new on the channel here, if it's your first time stopping by, I'm Travis. I used to be a chief meteorologist on television. I've been out of that business for years. So if you're looking to track weather, you want to get into this kind of stuff and follow it, I hope you'll subscribe. I usually give an update at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, especially if the weather's permitting. Let's talk about what's going on in the upper levels. We start at the top. In forecasting, that's the way I always did. Start at the top and work my way down. And this is where we are, big picture. This is the upper low that is going to cause a severe weather as we head into Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening here, as this energy and this jet streak moves across into East Texas. There's your storm across the west and your huge ridge across the eastern United States and up into southeast Canada, keeping our temperatures above average. Now, it's cold up here nonetheless, right? I mean, it's winter in Canada, but above normal. A trough swinging into the west, temperatures drop here. We've got some light snow and even some heavier snow into the mountains here of Idaho, Montana. And then we watch this trough start to dig in across the east. It's going to take a little while, and it's going to be kind of gloomy in parts of the south with clouds, rain showers around, and then we start to turn cold heading into the 31st and the 1st as our weather pattern shifts. Some ridging starts to build up across Alaska. This is important because once that happens, you start to dig this trough in, and you start to also get some blocking up across Greenland. So the question is, how strong will that blocking be? Your polar vortex starts to drop down into the Hudson Bay, and then there comes your polar flow out of the northwest, and you're ridging across Alaska, warmer across the west. I think your storm track moves more into Alaska, and now you have the potential for seeing something develop in the east, right? So imagine your flow like this. If you could just get a piece of energy to move up here into the northwest and then drop in, especially if it could drop here, right? And now you've had low pressure developing here somewhere on the coast. It's either going to go out to sea, the potential certainly there for something to move up the coast. We've still got a long way to go between now and January 8th. Again, that's something I'll be tracking over the next couple of weeks, so I hope you will come back. Here's where we are as we move through Thursday. Another big picture. Let's look at the entire country as a whole, and then we'll dive into the regions. High pressure across the northeast. We've got the severe weather and the rain moving into Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and some showers to the north of that with some heavy snows across the west. That will continue all the way through Friday. Into Saturday, it moves here into the Intermountain West with another storm moving into the Pacific Northwest, keeping that snow going here. And then look how wet it is across the southeast. It just stays damp here with this piece of energy moving through the Great Lakes. And we might see low pressure develop on the east side of that. That could pick the winds up and the rain heading into the northeast. And we are talking about rain, maybe some mixed precip on the northern edge of it. And then that moves through. And then the question is, where do we go from here? This is where the models lose it. Anything past 7 days or so, I don't trust it, but I want to show you the pattern. I still think we've got our trough starting to dig in the upper levels. At the surface, there's a piece of energy. There comes another one into the west. What happens with our trough that starts to develop in the east? Now, are we going to see a northeast snowstorm sometime around the 2nd, the 3rd? I don't know that we do. Now you've got another piece of energy, and how do the models handle this? Do they drop it further to the south? Do we lose it? Does it go out to sea? I mean, anything beyond this is just fantasy. So let's not get too much into that just yet. The potential, my mind hasn't changed. I'm still on board with, I think we have a good chance of seeing some kind of snowstorm there into January. And I know that sounds broad. It's like saying, hey, it's going to rain and there's going to be thunderstorms in June. Well, it's not that broad. I can tell you right now, because last week we were forecasting a blowtorch week temperature-wise on Christmas. It's what we're seeing. I'm seeing next week and the week beyond that, cold. And you got to get cold before you get to snow, and you've also got to have the pattern. And it's there in the long range in the upper levels, so let's just see what happens. High pressure, keeping us dry across the northeast. We'll start here with your regional outlook through Thursday and Friday. Cold here too, though. I mean, it's not really going to warm up that much. You're going to kind of be left in the cold, so to speak. It's going to be warm enough, though, that we will see some rain moving in as we head toward the weekend. Some of that could mix with some ice, maybe up toward Montreal, southern parts of Canada, into the northeast, especially here into the mountains, into the valleys where that cold air gets trapped. So some freezing rain possible. Let's watch this heading into the weekend, Saturday into Sunday, and some heavier rain now moving into the northeast for Sunday too. So kind of a wet go as we head into early Monday. This looks like a wet go Monday and Tuesday for sure as low pressure moves up the east coast. Here are the temperatures in the northeast as we move through tonight into early tomorrow morning. Cold again. We're talking about near 20 in New York, teens and 20s across interior areas. Your warmer air just to your south, but I said you're going to be left in the cold. I mean, look at this. Highs on Thursday. I mean, yeah, it could be much colder, but your friends to the west are much warmer than this. You're going to be stuck in the 20s, and you can kind of see that north-northeast flow here, keeping numbers down. Even heading into Friday, we're still talking about 30s across this region. Let's move west here. We've got some light rain showers across parts of Illinois, Iowa, heading into Thursday. As the moisture increases, we'll see the rain chances go up around the Great Lakes. So Wisconsin, up to Sault Ste. Marie, we'll start to see some showers. You know, we're kind of dry here in the lower peninsula, but that rain will increase as we head into Friday. And then a decent chance of rain as an area of low pressure moves up through Minnesota and Wisconsin. That might deepen enough that we could flip to snow pretty quickly here along the Wisconsin-Minnesota border. The models have been showing that for the last couple of days, so let's watch that right there. That could be a quick hit of snow, and then that moves out. And then here comes some of that colder air building in. You can kind of see our height lines like this in the upper levels. So temperatures dropping back a little bit. Temperatures across this area are on the way up. You can see the flow out of the south with your numbers there as we head into Friday afternoon. Highs in Chicago down towards South Bend in the 40s. We're going to be up at least above freezing, I think, from Milwaukee up to Green Bay, and a lot of Wisconsin and Minnesota cracking freezing. And then as we move towards Saturday, that's when that area of low pressure will move through. You can see how we get back below freezing here with that potential for some snow, but really warm out ahead of this. We've got temperatures near 60 for Indianapolis, up to Detroit, really warm here. And then the cold air holds off and it starts to move back in as we head into early next week. It'll take some time to get here, but eventually it will move in. Across the south, we're dry across the southeast on this Christmas Day. For now, southeast being here, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, down into Georgia, and even parts of Florida we're dry, but we've got a few showers here across South Florida. Rain showers moving back up the Mississippi River Valley. Some of that really starts to increase as we head into Friday, and that would be the severe weather, which we're going to look at across Texas. And then the rain gets heavy heading into Friday afternoon, Friday evening across the Tennessee Valley into the Mid-South and up to the Ohio Valley. And then we keep the rain around all the way. Look at this, into Saturday, now into Sunday. Eventually, this finally pushes out. This is, I'm telling you, with this upper low, and if this rain hangs around, you're gray, you're cloudy, it's damp, it's kind of a gross week, not maybe what you want to hear. Temperatures, though, mild, though, as we move through Thursday. Highs in the 50s all the way up, again, we talked about that, to the Ohio River. There's that cold wedge that's pushing down the east side of the Appalachians. That keeps us cold in Atlanta, colder, kind of cloudy, kind of gray, too, with temperatures in the 40s. Warmer to the south of that, you get down towards Macon, over to Tuscaloosa, over to Jackson, and into Mississippi, Louisiana, into the 70s. So looking nice here, but there's that wedge of cold air. Greenville, Spartanburg in the 40s, maybe even 30s up into the mountains, Roanoke, Lynchburg, north into D.C., chilly, all the way through the week and into the weekend. So that warm air that's surging north, not necessarily making it much past here. You're kind of cold and damp here into the mid-Atlantic. Some of that tries to scour out as we head into Saturday, maybe even into Sunday, out ahead of the next system, which is dropping here like this, and you can see your numbers pushing back up. We may crack 50 up here toward the Jersey Shore, maybe. Let's talk about that severe weather risk, though, across Texas. It's a marginal risk from parts of Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana. The tornado risk is there. Your hail risk is also going to be there, and plenty of potential for some wind damage. There's your hail, by the way. I'm sorry, I had that backwards, and there's your wind potential. Let's look at this a little bit closer as our upper low swings out of the Four Corner states into Texas. That's when your severe chances start to pick up heading into the afternoon and evening with some lighter snows here back across the Rockies. A closer look at timing some of these thunderstorms out. They'll really start to pick up as we head into Thursday afternoon. I'm backing it up a little bit here. This is Eastern time on the timestamp. So by noon, I think everything is on the table, especially across East Texas. Now, the latest high-resolution NAM model here, the 3K, not showing as much thunderstorm activity, but I think you have to watch Southeast Texas. It's really concentrating things up here into southeast parts of Oklahoma. Either way, Texarkana, you are going to see some thunderstorms. Hot Springs, Arkansas, down into Louisiana. Let's move a little bit further to the east, sort of the same view here, or the same area, just a bit of a different view. Those thunderstorms will be moving into Arkansas, and some of these could be discrete supercells, meaning they get off by themselves. They could rotate. You could have some rotating updrafts. So the tornado risk is there. All right, so be weather aware on the day after Christmas. Across Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas. Nothing new, right? You've got Dixie Alley here. And this is a peak time frame, especially if you can get these types of events moving through. I know it's not summer, but you do get your second tornado season, and this is kind of it. That tracks to the east. It will weaken as it heads into Friday morning, but still some rumbles of thunder possible across parts of Tennessee and Mississippi. And then your heavy rain continues to move to the east. Temperatures here warm out ahead of that. Look at that. You can see the dew points on the way up too, and the temperatures into the 60s and 70s as we head into Thursday afternoon. So plenty of fuel here out ahead of our system that's moving through for those thunderstorms to work with. To the north, a little bit colder. That's going to limit your severe weather. And then as we head into Friday, you can see that punch late Friday night or late Thursday night into Friday night, punching north here into Arkansas out ahead of your front. Your low, so that could be driving some of those dew points up, pushing that severe risk up here into parts of northern Arkansas and then over into Mississippi as we head into the early morning Friday. Across the west, heavy snow here, heavy rain, big waves still pounding the Pacific Northwest. More snow on the way, and look how this spreads all the way into Utah, Colorado. Some of it may actually, I don't know, but boy, it may make it down to the northern mountains of Arizona and New Mexico. A lot of the storms have been missing you guys, and this one isn't going to target you, but you may get some precip out of it. More snow headed into the Sierra heading to Friday, and the rain is going to be a huge deal too, with wind picking up. Some places, again, 1 to 3 feet, especially here into the mountains of Idaho, Montana. You get down towards Boise and the valleys, Salt Lake City, not as much snow in the cities, but up in the mountains, it's on. That's all I got. See you next time.